It was supposed to be a normal evening, just me, a tired heart, and a food delivery order placed out of pure laziness. I wasn't expecting anything special. Honestly, I hadn't been expecting much from life in general lately. After a long day filled with disappointments and silence, I just wanted to curl up on the couch, eat something comforting, and maybe scroll mindlessly through old photos. But when the doorbell rang that night, everything quietly shifted, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I opened the door expecting the usual, a rushed handoff, a quick thank you, maybe a tired smile. But what I got instead was something else entirely. He stood there, holding a paper bag in one hand, slightly out of breath like he'd taken the stairs instead of the elevator. His hair was messy, like he hadn't looked in a mirror before rushing out, and his shirt had a tiny stain on the sleeve. He was real. Raw. Human. And when our eyes met, something strange flickered in my chest. Not butterflies, but something slower, deeper. Like a calm wave right before it touches the shore. He smiled, polite but warm. "Hi, sorry I'm a bit late," he said, as if he owed me more than just food. And I smiled back, saying it was okay, though I didn't really care about the time. I cared more about the way his voice felt familiar somehow, even though we were strangers. Maybe it was just one of those moments that pass quickly and mean nothing, or maybe it was the beginning of something I didn't even know I needed. He handed me the bag, and I should have closed the door right after. But I didn't. I stood there. Something in me didn't want him to leave. Something in him, I could tell, didn't want to walk away either. He hesitated, like he was waiting for a reason to stay just a little longer. So I gave him one. "Would you like some water? You look kind of exhausted." He laughed gently, like he hadn't heard kindness all day, and nodded. "Yeah, actually, that would be nice." And just like that, a 5-second delivery turned into a 20-minute conversation in my doorway. He sat on the edge of my couch, sipping water like it was the best thing he'd had all week. We talked about random things, music, cities we wanted to visit, the weirdness of modern dating. Nothing too deep, but nothing fake either. It felt real. It felt easy. But here's the strange part. I didn't even get his name. Not that night. Because just as things were starting to feel different, his phone rang. He looked at the screen, and the way his expression changed, something serious, almost worried, made my heart drop a little. He stood up quickly, muttering, "I'm so sorry, I have to go." And before I could even ask what happened, he was gone. I stood there holding an empty glass and a heart that suddenly didn't feel so empty anymore. Who was he? Would he ever come back? Or had I just imagined something beautiful, only for it to slip away just as quietly as it came? The answer, as it turns out, wasn't what I expected at all. For the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about him. His voice, his quiet smile, the way he looked down when he laughed, it kept playing in my head like a scene from a movie I didn't want to end. I kept wondering what that phone call was about, what made him leave so suddenly. More than that, I wondered if he'd ever come back. But I didn't even have a name, no number, nothing to hold on to except a memory and a delivery receipt with the restaurant's name printed at the top. I started ordering from that same place again. Once, twice, 4 times in a week. Each time hoping, stupidly, maybe, that he'd be the one to knock on my door again. But he never came. Different drivers, different faces. And every time I opened the door and didn't see him standing there, I felt something quietly sink inside me. It made no sense. He was just a food delivery guy. We barely talked. But there was something in that moment, a connection, real and sudden, like we had known each other before in another life. I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes your heart just recognizes someone before your mind can even catch up. One night, I finally called the restaurant. I made up some excuse, said I wanted to compliment one of their drivers. I asked if someone could tell me his name. There was a pause. Then the woman on the phone asked, "Was it the guy with the little moon tattoo on his wrist?" I froze. Yes. I had noticed that tiny tattoo when he handed me the water, but I hadn't thought much of it at the time. That must have been Ian, she said. But he hasn't shown up to work since that night. My heart dropped the second she said that. He hasn't shown up to work since that night. Her words kept echoing in my ears long after I ended the call. Why would he disappear like that? Was something wrong? Did that phone call have something to do with it? The more I thought about it, the more questions I had, and no way to answer them. Days turned into a week. Then 2. I told myself to let it go, that maybe I was just caught up in a moment that meant nothing to him. But my gut said otherwise. There was something unfinished about that night, something that kept pulling me back into the memory. And then, one afternoon, while I was walking back from a nearby cafe, I saw him. Across the street. Leaning against a wall, hood up, arms crossed, looking like he was deep in thought. For a second, I wasn't even sure it was him. But then he turned his head, and I saw the little moon tattoo on his wrist. I called out. Ian? He looked up. Our eyes met. And just like that night, something unspoken passed between us. But instead of walking toward me, he turned and walked away fast. Almost like he was trying not to be seen. I ran across the road, dodging cars, yelling his name again, but by the time I got there, he was gone. What was he running from? Or who? That moment made one thing clear. This wasn't just about a random delivery and an unexpected spark. There was something deeper, something he was hiding. And I was slowly getting pulled into it. Whether I was ready or not. A simple food order had turned into something I never could have imagined, an emotional mystery wrapped in a true love story. I couldn't sleep that night. My mind kept replaying the moment I saw him and the way he turned away so quickly, like he was afraid, or worse, like he didn't want me involved in whatever he was dealing with. But how could I ignore it now? This wasn't just about love anymore. It had become something heavier. Something personal. And I couldn't shake the feeling that he was in trouble. The next day, I went back to the restaurant, hoping someone might know more. The same woman who answered the phone before was there in person. When I asked about Ian again, she glanced around like she wasn't sure she should be talking. Look, she whispered, he's a good guy. Keeps to himself. Never caused problems. But after that phone call he got, something changed. He quit without a word. We haven't heard from him since. What kind of phone call? I asked. She hesitated. I think, family stuff. Or maybe someone from his past. He never said. I left the restaurant feeling more confused than ever. Why wouldn't he tell me? Why did he disappear when we were just beginning to connect? I thought about the quiet way he sat on my couch that night, how safe and open he felt, and now he was gone, shutting everyone out. Later that evening, I got a strange message. No name. Just a location pin and 5 words, if you care, come alone. My chest tightened. I didn't recognize the number. My heart was pounding. Was this from Ian? Was he in danger? Or was this something else entirely? I stood staring at the screen, torn between fear and curiosity. Every part of me wanted to go. But something told me this wasn't going to be simple anymore. I stared at the message for what felt like forever. If you care, come alone. The location was just outside the city, an old industrial area I'd never been to before. My mind raced through every possibility. Was this a trap? Or was Ian trying to protect me by keeping things vague? I had no clue what I was walking into, but something in me, maybe that same instinct that told me he was more than just a passing stranger, pushed me to go. I drove in silence, heart pounding with every mile. The streets got darker, quieter, almost abandoned. When I finally reached the pin spot, it was an empty parking lot behind a worn-down warehouse. For a second, I thought no one was there. But then I saw a figure step out from the shadows. It wasn't Ian. It was a man, tall, older, with a hard expression and eyes that studied me too closely. "You're the one asking about Ian," he said, voice low, almost warning. I nodded slowly, trying to hide my fear. I want to know if he's okay." He gave a bitter laugh. "You shouldn't be looking for him. He's hiding for a reason. People get hurt when they get close." "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice trembling. He stepped closer. "Ian used to be part of something he's not proud of. He left. Tried to start over. But you showing up, digging around, it's bringing attention he doesn't want." I stood frozen, trying to process it all. Ian had a past. A dangerous one. And now, somehow, I was tangled in it. Then came the second twist, something I wasn't ready for. The man handed me a small envelope. Inside was a photo. It was me and Ian. That same night he delivered food. But the picture was taken from outside my window. "We're not the only ones watching," the man said. "And next time, they won't just be taking pictures." My hands went cold. My mind was spinning. Someone had been following us. Watching from the start. This wasn't just about a mysterious delivery guy with a secret past. Now, it was about both of us being caught in something far more dangerous. And suddenly, this unexpected love story had turned into something far more serious than I ever imagined. My hands were still shaking as I left that parking lot, heart thudding louder than the engine of my car. Someone had taken our photo that night, watched us through my window. It wasn't just about Ian's past anymore. I was involved now, whether I wanted to be or not. And deep down, I knew I had to find him before someone else did. That night, I couldn't sleep. I went through every place I'd seen him, every detail I remembered. Then it hit me, the cafe across from where I'd spotted him last week. It was small and quiet, the kind of place someone might feel safe in, even while hiding. The next morning, I went there, hoping it wasn't a dead end. I didn't even get my coffee. I just waited. Hours passed. People came and went. And just when I was about to give up, I saw him, hood up, looking tired, but very much real. I called out softly, "Ian." He looked up, his eyes wide with both surprise and regret. He started to turn away again, but this time, I reached him first. "I saw the photo," I said. "Someone's watching us. They warned me. Why didn't you just tell me?" He looked down, voice barely a whisper. "Because I didn't want you to get hurt. I left that life behind, but they didn't leave me. And the moment I saw you, I knew I couldn't drag you into it." I stared at him, tears forming. "But you did. And now I need the truth, Ian. All of it." He finally told me everything. About the group he ran from, the danger he tried to escape, and how that night at my door wasn't supposed to mean anything, but somehow, it did. "You were my moment of peace," he said. "The only thing that felt real in a long time." We decided to go to the police. He gave his statement, shared what he knew, and for once, stopped running. It wasn't easy. But together, we started finding our way out of the dark. Weeks later, I got another message from an unknown number. Just one sentence. "You think it's over, but he's not the only one with secrets." And just like that, everything changed again. The message shook me, but this time I didn't panic. Maybe because I wasn't alone anymore. Ian and I had faced the worst of it together, and even though there were still shadows from his past, we were done letting fear control our lives. We reported the new message to the police. They traced the number. It was linked to someone from Ian's old circle, someone who'd been watching quietly from a distance, trying to manipulate us without ever showing their face. But their silence gave them away. A quiet investigation started, and slowly, the walls around that hidden world began to crack. As weeks turned into months, things finally started to feel normal again. Ian found a part-time job in a different part of the city. He moved into a small place not far from mine, and we started doing the little things couples do: grocery runs, movie nights, long walks in the evening where we talked about everything and nothing. It was simple, peaceful, and honest. Something neither of us had felt in a long time. And even though our love story started from something as ordinary as a food delivery, it became anything but ordinary. It became a story about second chances, unexpected connections, and how even the most random moments can change your life forever. The truth is, love doesn't always come softly. Sometimes it barges in through the door holding a takeout bag and a tired smile, and flips everything upside down without warning. As for the final message, the threat, the warning, it faded into the background over time. No one else ever showed up. Maybe it was a last attempt to scare us. Or maybe someone out there is still watching. But we've stopped looking over our shoulders. Because we've already survived the storm. And no matter what comes next, we're not facing it alone. So yeah, he just came to deliver the food. But now, he's the reason my heart beats differently. And in this true unexpected love story, the biggest twist of all was that in the middle of fear, mystery, and danger, I found home. 47.